Remember when Elon Musk rebranded Twitter to X a couple of months back? Well, that's how I'm feeling right now in regards to 2x2, because 3x3 is honestly no longer the main event in cubing anymore. It is now 2x2, because the absolute absurdities that have been going on in relation to this event are just insane. And honestly, I couldn't have written a better story if I tried. Because somehow now we are in a point in 2024 where Zayn Khanani versus Yiheng Wang is genuinely the best rivalry we've seen in cubing since like Mats vs Felix back in the mid-2010s. It's just that good. Because the absolute pandemonium that transpired after what I talked about in my last video, which was the 0.93 that didn't count from Yiheng Wang, that average, we really did think that it was going to take a long time before we would ever see the first sub 1, right? But Zayn Khanani let us all know this past weekend that he absolutely does not care what you think, because he just got a 0.92, dropping the record by, what, 0.8 or 0.9? Because it was a 1.01. But he still beat Yiheng 0.93 that didn't count no matter what. Like, he still would have beaten that too. And the story gets even crazier, because when I saw the other record that happened, I just like completely refused to believe that this was even a possibility in the first place. I mean, I was over here in denial like a kid who had just stolen the final cookie from the cookie jar in the family reunion. Like, I was over here, I was trying to cope, man, because I just didn't think that this was even a possibility. But can we just give Zayn his flowers first before I explain all of that? Because he's been working on this for a solid 3 years, where he's really been in the running to get a sub 1 average. And honestly, it's probably been the most highly anticipated barrier of all of the 2020s so far. And I highly recommend that you go ahead and check out his reconstructions that he actually posted on his channel, just explaining everything that he was thinking during these solves. But the general gist of all of this is that he's using some pretty crazy techniques that we just haven't ever seen before in 2x2, at least to my knowledge. For example, you know how in the most advanced 2x2 method you basically start by solving a side and then you solve the rest with one algorithm? Well, Zayn actually skips the first step sometimes and just straight up goes to the algorithm because he just knows it straight from the scrambled state. So yeah, even the pro 2x2ers are just in shambles even trying to contemplate what's happening right now in some of these solves. Anyway, the TCBL is insane and my brain is fried just even trying to think about it myself. But let me just break down his final solve, which secured him the world record average and ended in one of the best reactions I've ever seen to anything in cubing ever. And I'll try to kind of explain how he dealt with one of the highest pressure situations we've ever seen. This solve ended up being a 0.88, and Scramble will be on screen now. And if you want to get a better 2x2 than the one I have right now, because I've had this one for quite a long time now, you can of course just head over to Speedcube Shop and use code STU. Alright, so just taking a look at the scramble, what Zayn's thinking right now is he's actually looking at white, because of course there's this line right here, and he can very easily make a face on white, which is the first step of the most advanced method, of course. And then he's going to solve the rest with an EG1 algorithm, which there are about 40 or so of. So what he does is he basically notices that if he just does these 4 moves, he can solve the entire white face. So instead of just solving the white side like this, and then going into this algorithm, which just goes like this, with no AUF. Instead of doing that, he actually makes the solution a lot more efficient. And basically what he sees here is that he can actually cancel into this algorithm, and it's quite a few moves here that he takes away from the solution in total by just doing a U prime and then an R2 here. Instead of actually just inserting this corner, he just does an R2. And then he can do this F move, and then he can finish off the algorithm like this. It's just really nice, and it's only 10 moves this way. So like he said in his reconstruction, it was just a really nice algorithm to cancel into in that situation. And of course, no AUF is also very, very nice. And you can actually see right here the moment during inspection that he chooses to do white, and then he just sticks with that. So I think that was a very defining moment in this last solve that actually led to him getting such a good time of him just focusing on one solution and not trying to, you know, change up his solution midway through inspection. So that's how we ended the average, without a doubt, with a bang. I mean, we had all of the stereotypes of a cubing world record happening. The screaming child, you know, everybody was anticipating this, so they were all ready, and then everybody's just screaming right after. This is what happens basically when you work towards something for like 5-6 years, and then all of it just happens at once in literally under a second. But then just 12 hours later, I was left in absolute shock. I honestly, I looked at my phone. I didn't even believe that this happened at first. Like, I thought this was, again, some sick joke. But Yiheng Wang got another 0.93 average. But this time it counts. Yes, it's 100% legit. This actually happened so soon after Zayn's world record that it actually counted it, like on the page on Cubing China, it counted it as a world record. I mean, if you would have done this literally just 12 hours earlier, it would have been a world record. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Sometimes the truth really is stranger than fiction. And he actually did in fact have a chance on his final solve to break the 0.92, but he got like a 3 point something, so that would have been absolutely absurd if he would have broken. And he was just 100th away, but it gets even crazier because in the next next round, he actually got a 1.01, which ties the world record 2 average from Zayn. And this guy in the comments of one of my videos actually pointed out something that's really interesting, and that's that this is by far the world record for an average of 2 rounds of 2x2 during one competition. Because if you average together 0.93 and 1.01, you get 0.97. So if you average them both together, he's still sub 1 for both of the rounds. So what does all of this tell us? Well, first and foremost, it tells us that Zayn is by no means safe. Yiheng can just walk in at any time and steal the record like it's the notorious Washington ATM heist, where Jason Kovar decided to burn through the ATM, and instead of, you know, burning a hole and stealing all of the money, he actually just burned the money. It was truly one of the heists of all time. But you get the point. This all just makes me ask, what is the human limit for the 2x2 world record average? Like, when are we going to see, you know, a 0.7, a 0.6, a 0.8, something like that? And honestly, I think that it's just going to get to the point where everything is so optimized, and you're going to see, like, just perfect finger tricks on every single solve, perfect solutions. But yeah, I absolutely would not have believed you if you told me this happened just a week ago when the whole first 2x2 situation was going down. And this is now somehow one of the greatest rivalries in all of cubing. Like, I really can't wait to see where all of this goes. And who knows, maybe the 6-year-olds will show up and take all of the records, which, you know, it's a common theme in all my videos that the 6-year-olds just come in and take all of the records. But yeah, it's gonna happen, man. I'm sure she can do it. And anyways, here's another video you can watch about the 0.93 that didn't count. And you can subscribe up here if you want to, and you like my rambles, or whatever this is, whatever you want to call it, you know. Go ahead and comment down below. If you're still watching this somehow, comment down below. Like, what would you classify me as, I guess? Like, if the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, right? Am I a professional yapper? Am I a dilly-dallier? Like, what am I doing, honestly? Just go ahead and comment. Anyway, we're already coming up on 10K, and yeah, I didn't really expect to be approaching that so soon, but here we are. So thank you guys for that, and yeah, besides that, that's about it. See ya.